Alright, so let's look and see how to find all the trig values for 270 degrees. Alright, so before we get started on finding those, let's look right here. Here we have theta. We have a point out here. We'll label that xy. Okay, and if we plot the point, we go over x and up y. So this distance here would be x, the distance here would be y, and we'll call this r. And you know by the Pythagorean theorem, r squared is equal to x squared plus y squared. So that would actually give us r, if we square root both sides, would be r equals the square root of x squared plus y squared. Okay. All right, so remember your properties that sine of theta, okay, is equal to y over r. Cosine theta is x over r. Tangent theta is y over x. And then remember cosecant theta, secant theta, and cotangent theta is just the reciprocal of these. So cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine, and cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. These you should memorize. Okay, you have to memorize those. All right, so let's see what we've got. Well, we're looking for 270 degrees. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and choose a point. And this point we will label 0, -1. X coordinate would be 0, and we're going to come down -1. Okay, if we wanted to, we could label the point 0, -3. We could label it 0, -1/2, or 0, square root of 2 if we wanted to. Okay, as long as the point we choose is on the y-axis and it has to be below the x-axis, because that's where the terminal side is for 270 degrees. Okay, but and keep in mind, I mean, the x value is going to always be 0. It's just a matter of how far down do we want to come on the y-axis. Well, I just picked -1 because it's the easiest thing to do. All right, so now what we need to do is calculate r. So we know that r is equal to the square root of x squared plus y squared. So I get r is the square root. Well, 0 squared plus -1 squared would be 0 plus 1. So that's the square root of 1, which is 1. So there's r. And keep in mind, we know x is 0, and we know y is -1. So that gives us x is 0, y is -1, and r, we calculated here, is 1. So there you go. Now we find the values for 270. So we have the sine of 270. Well, sine is y over r, so y over r, -1 over 1, which is -1. Cosine of 270, well, cosine is x over r, so x over r, 0 over 1, which is 0. Tangent 270, well, what's tangent? Y over x, y over x, -1 over 0. Well, there you go. We've got 0 in the denominator, and that is undefined. Okay, can't have 0 in the denominator of a fraction. And then for cosecant 270, well, remember, cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so we can actually take this fraction here and take the reciprocal, so that's 1 over negative 1, which is negative 1. Secant 270, secant's reciprocal of cosine, so if we flip this, that's 1 over 0, which that is undefined. And then cotangent of 270, well, if we take the reciprocal of tangent, we flip this, that's 0 over negative 1, which is negative 1. So there's all your values, all your trig values for 270 degrees. So I hope the video helped. Check out my other videos. Give me a like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.